everyone, my name is Hannah, and this week I'm doing my interactive advanced concept presentation for our 8th and final week, and this is going to be the kinetic sand experiment, where we're going to be mixing dish soap or polymer with sand and kind of changing the properties of sand to make it our kinetic sand. So some ingredients that I'm going to be using this week is I bought some play sand online, and this was already dry, which is important that there's no water mixed in with your sand when you're making the kinetic sand. I have some dish soap and cornstarch. So I'm just going to start by putting my sand in my mixing bowl and then mixing in about a tablespoon of cornstarch. And cornstarch. So I have both the sand and the cornstarch in here. So I'm just gonna now mix them until the cornstarch is evenly distributed in the sand. Ooh, making some bad noises. Okay, so I'd say the cornstarch is about mixed in here. So the next thing I have is I have this bowl with some water in it, and I'm gonna put about a teaspoon or so of the dish soap in here. Okay, so I probably put a little more than a teaspoon, but I think that'll be okay. And so I have it mixed in this bowl, and so I'm just gonna mix the water and the dish soap until the dish soap starts making the water kind of frothy. Okay, so it's a little bubbly now, and I'm just gonna mix the water mixture with the dish soap into the sand. And it's important to do this slow so that you don't make your sand too runny. So I think we're wanting this to be like clumpy, but not too thick and not too runny. So I'm just trying to get a good texture. So let's see. I don't know, it still feels like too sandy. So this is the texture that I got. I don't know if that is, I think it might be a little too runny. I can add a little more sand to it. See if that helps the texture. Because it kind of just feels like wet sand instead of the kinetic sand that we're looking for. I think I might have put too much water in it. So I'm gonna just call this good. It can definitely be molded more than normal sand, and it's kind of viscous. But yeah, so I'm gonna call this good. Just gonna wipe off my hands quick. And I'll explain a little bit more about what's happening with this experiment. So with this kinetic sand, the dish soap coats the sand and kind of makes a polymer, and this causes the sand to not dry out and have properties of wet sand and is able to stick to itself. So a polymer is any class of natural or synthetic substances composed of very large molecules called macromolecules, which are multiples of simpler chemical units called monomers. This kinetic sand is viscoelastic, which means at long flow times or high temperatures, it acts like a viscous liquid, and at short times or low temperatures, it acts like an elastic solid, similar to rubber, and can be molded into shapes, kind of like what we saw with my sand. And additionally, the polymer or dish soap coating makes it hydrophobic. So that is my kinetic sand presentation. Thank you for watching.